What is a constrained motion? The body has 6 degrees of freedom when it is not constrained. The body will not move in any direction if all the degrees of freedom are locked. The motion that occurs when the body is allowed to move in one direction but constrained in all the other directions is called constrained motion. In a constrained motion, the object moves in a restricted way. For example, the circular motion of the fan is a constrained motion. The force exerted by the constraining object on a particular object to make it follow the constraints of the movement is known as the constrained force. Types of constrained motion. There are 3 types of constrained motion. Completely constrained motion. Incompletely constrained motion. Partially or successfully constrained motion. Completely constrained motion. Completely constrained motion is when the motion of the pair is limited to one direction, irrespective of the direction of the applied force. For examples, a rectangular shaft moving in one direction in a rectangular hole is a completely constrained motion. The motion of shaft with collar at each end in circular motion only, it cannot move in any other direction. The motion of square bar in square hole. The piston and cylinder and its motion of the piston is limited to definite direction irrespective to motion of crank, direction of applied force. Incompletely constrained motion. In an incompletely constrained motion, the motion between the two links or pair can take place in more than one direction. Then the motion is called incompletely constrained motion. The change in direction of the force changes the type of relative motion between the two link or pairs. Example: a circular shaft or bar moving in a circular hole as it may either slide or rotate is an example of incompletely constrained motion. These both motion are independent of each other. That is rotation and sliding. Partially or successfully constrained motion. In partially constrained motion, when there is no external force applied, the motion will be in more than one direction, but when an external force is applied, the motion is restricted to a single direction. Partially constrained motion is also called successfully constrained motion. Example: the footstep bearing shaft in may rotate in a bearing ought it may move downward direction. This is case of incompletely constrained motion, but if the load is placed on the shaft it moves in only one direction due to an external force is applied. It's partially constrained motion.